There are a lot of people that try to give so-called reasons why The Last Jedi sucks, but most of those reasons are either A, not valid whatsoever, B, irrelevant to the quality of the film, C, dreadful nitpicking, or D, just overall terrible standards. So let's go through 25 things that do not make The Last Jedi a bad film. You making up extremely fake and arbitrary rules to justify your irrational hatred towards The Last Jedi. Your fan theories not coming to life. Seriously, you have to be a fucking moron to think Rey is the daughter of Palpatine, and the fact that you think that Snoke is Mace Windu. The fact that The Last Jedi flopped in China, that has nothing to do with the quality of the movie, as it even still managed to crack the top 10 of worldwide box office earnings. The audience score. That's not a valid argument. By your logic, the reboot of Spider-Man in 2012 must be supposedly superior to the Sam Raimi film from 2002 just because the Spider-Man film from 2002 has a lower audience score than The Amazing Spider-Man 2012. That is a very shallow and inconsistent argument. Your appeal to a popular opinion fallacy will not work. Yoda summoning lightning from the sky. Seriously? That's a complaint? Really? Did you miss the part in A New Hope where Obi-Wan practically implies when you become one with the Force you're more powerful than ever? Seriously? You missed it? The point of that went over your head that far? Get that shit out of here.
You can't win, Darth. If you strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you can possibly imagine.
That has to be the most pathetic reason to dislike The Last Jedi. Ever. You being massively hyperbolic and strawmanning of Rey's character. She's not more powerful than Yoda, Palpatine, or Darth Vader. Quit with that ridiculous comparison. Name me one time she's destroyed the following: a Death Star, a Dreadnought, a Supremacy, a Star Destroyer, an AT-AT or ATM-6, a sail barge, and so on. Go on. I'll wait. I could go on for hours of why Rey is not a Mary Sue, but I'll leave it at there. Luke not being an indestructible god. It's not a Michael Bay film. I would rather have characters that I could emotionally invest in than some indestructible god that Michael Bay's the shit out of everything. Feminism. It does not mean superiority to men. Research what feminism really means before you parrot that phrase to death. Rose saving Finn. It doesn't undermine the film. Also, if you look how anticlimactic the destruction of those ski speeders are, his Finn, done with the correct intentions, would not have worked at all. Also, if Rose hadn't saved Finn wouldn't have reunited with Rey, so you should be thanking Rose for saving Finn. Because at the end of the day, I would honestly buy Rey and Finn over Rose and Finn any day. The fact that you call people shills for liking The Last Jedi or Disney's films. And that right there is when the argument is over. Because when they have arguments against your idiocy that's so valid that you have to pull the shill card out of your ass, that's when you lose. That's when you've pulled the shortest straw. The lack of Wilhelm screams. You call that a valid criticism? Lightsabers not clashing in the film. Admiral Akbar not doing that kamikaze light speed. I find it ironic how people complain how The Last Jedi memes the hell out of itself, but go on bitching about how their oh-so-sacred meme character didn't do the kamikaze lightspeed, as if replacing a weird background character with a weird background character would fix the film. Do you people honestly think it would be smart of Disney to let a character with the name Akbar to do a suicide action like that? Think about that one for a while. The lightspeed kamikaze not being convinced in any Star Wars films in the past. That, once again, has nothing to do with the quality of The Last Jedi. The Last Jedi just so happened to break the silence of that so-called plot hole, quote-unquote. It's not like those ships and cruisers in space in those films didn't have a hyperdrive to use and crash into the Death Star, or any other large antagonist structure. Besides, considering that the Resistance was on the brink of being fully mowed down by the Supremacy, what other options do you think they had? It's either Holdo lets them die, or does a spectacular sacrifice to save the last remaining Resistance on the transports. The Raddus does not have cannons like the Dreadnought did. Please stop whinging. The Yo Mama joke. Because Star Wars totally never had cheesy humor prior to The Last Jedi?
R2, let him have it. R2!
What else was Poe supposed to do to buy time for his booster to engage the Dreadnought? Snoke being killed off early. That makes you wonder, doesn't it? Makes you wonder what kind of setup we're getting for Kylo Ren in Episode 9, doesn't it? If you don't understand how this is a setup, then you should have your Netflix password revoked. Rey's parents being nobodies. Do they even really matter? They don't have to be significant characters in order for Rey's character to be good. Greatness coming from nothing is more powerful than greatness coming from greatness. Not everything has to be connected. You forcing yourself to believe The Last Jedi is a ripoff all because of The Force Awakens paying homage to the original trilogy. Stop calling The Last Jedi supposedly a blatant ripoff of Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, and Battlestar Galactica just because The Force Awakens did it with A New Hope. Sharing story elements with past films have nothing to do with the quality of the film. That's like saying A New Hope sucks for sharing the same plot structure as Flash Gordon and the Hidden Fortress. They're all tributes. It's the same shit. Get over it. Finn and Rose's romance, quote-unquote. It's not even a romance. Even if it was, at least it makes sense for Rose to fall for Finn. After all, she did praise Finn for deflecting from the First Order, and she has a strong negative emotional connection to the First Order, and the fact that Finn risked his life to disable the shields on Starkiller Base, even though his true intentions were to save Rey, but the point still stands. Finn is the only hero she ever got to know other than her sister Paige Tico. Oh, and did I also mention Finn defected from the First Order to save Poe's life? Think again. However, I still buy Finn and Rey over Rose and Finn, like I mentioned earlier. Disney making money, even though every other big blockbuster as large as Star Wars exists to make money. Porgs. They do not undermine the film, nor the story, in any way. Just like how the Ewoks do not undermine the Return of the Jedi. My favorite Star Wars, by the way. Mark Hamill's initial thoughts on how Rian Johnson handled Luke Skywalker. Which, again, has nothing to do with The Last Jedi's quality, yet again. Apply that same logic to Alec Guinness not liking Star Wars in general, and Harrison Ford always disliking Han Solo to begin with, and even requested multiple times for his character to be killed off. Also, about Mark Hamill not liking The Last Jedi and siding with you idiots.
One thing in the documentary that kept coming back up was you saying that you fundamentally disagreed with Rian Johnson's.
Oh,
I know.
wish they hadn't done that. I'll tell you why. Because that should remain in the rehearsal process. That should be between the screenwriter and the director, and I regret saying that out loud. And I said it before I saw the whole movie put together. And it prejudices people in a way that's unfair, because people that are unhappy with the movie, you know, will cite that and say, see Hamill
even
hated
Luke
it
himself.
too. Yeah, because people that are unhappy with the movie, you know, will cite that and say, see Hamill
even
hated
Luke
it
himself.
too. Yeah, because people that are unhappy with the movie, you know, will cite that and say, see Hamill
even
hated
Luke
it too.
himself.
Yeah. And look, I mean, it was unexpected, you know, because Luke was always so optimistic and positive, but you know, it's got to move on. I mean, I do like the unexpected, and that was certainly unexpected. And even though it's hard, when you're pushed out of your comfort zone, that's probably a good sign, because otherwise it would be, you know, something that everyone had expected, and that's not good.
Had trouble accepting what he saw for Luke. But again, I mean, I have to say, having seen the movie, I was wrong. Having seen the movie, I was wrong. Having seen the movie, I was wrong.
The fact that most fans have a better opinion on the film after their second viewing. That should be celebrated if a film gives you a better experience the second time around. Not shut down for being supposedly a failure, quote-unquote. The movie isn't inherently bad just because you need to see it more than once. In fact, seeing it more than once is what solidifies my opinion. That applies to movies like Back to the Future, Jaws, Pulp Fiction, Aliens, Terminator 2 Judgment Day, as well as many other films. Finally, the primary thing that does not make The Last Jedi suck: you not understanding Star Wars. Turns out most Star Wars fans that severely lack research before going to the theater, maybe if they would recap scene by scene and dialogue by dialogue in every Star Wars film ever released, they could fill in these so-called plot holes that they're supposedly trying to comprehend, which they intentionally try to misunderstand in order to irrationally detract Disney. Thank you guys for watching. May the Force be with all of you.